in doctor after doctor from Mass General, and certainly there are plenty of them there. But they brought in from Michigan a doctor by the name of Jeffrey Mazel. In other words, the experts at the Mass General, they found, well, put it this way, they brought in the top pediatric expert in jaundice. And within 3 weeks, I learned the medicine enough to challenge it, to cross-examine it. And I was proud of that ability. And I've always been proud of my ability to learn quickly. Let me just say that living in the project, crime is not a theoretical thing. I mean, I knew criminals, and I know what crime can do to a neighborhood. It makes the residents, in some ways, prisoners. So, and I've always been interested in criminal law. You follow them. I must say that since I've become involved in this process, I tend to look a little more in Lawyers Weekly to follow the cases and decisions in criminal law. I am eager to learn it. I knew I would learn it. I've already begun to learn it. I've spoken with Justice Rouse, and she's told me that if I was confirmed, that she would start me on the civil side, and I will continue not just to know it in a satisfactory way, but to master it and to be good at it. It's an important area of law, and I would dedicate myself to learning it and to hit the ground running.
I want to pass it this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Merrigan.
Yes, thank you.
I've read your application to the agency, and I listened to your witnesses and I observed the evidence. It seems there's a disconnect here. I know that Superior Court requires some pretty complicated legal analysis and writing and sort of explication of one's thoughts. And I guess I'm just looking at your application and I don't see that your thinking, your writing comes out the way I would expect to see in this kind of application. I can't tell whether you think about it enough or you take enough time with it. Question 78 bothers me a lot. Just to, do you have your application?
I may not.
That's the one where you asked the three matters or activities which you had significant participation. Do you remember that answer?
I don't remember the answer. I remember the question, but I don't remember the answer.
I've got it. It's all marked up, but I'm troubled by this.
Okay. Is it a particular case or is it all?
Well, it's just the way you entered it. So it's organized and the thoughts were seen and completed.
That was a very emotional case, and I thought a huge case in a lot of ways. There was a lot at stake. Now, so there may be some emotion that comes across here.
But it was sort of just almost the stream of consciousness.
Well, let me get into that.
And in some of your answers, I mean, you were asked about your thoughts about being a judge, and you said, "Oh, I never really thought about it," and then moved on.
I thought that I had indicated my.
Just not to interrupt you, one second. We're actually getting some
It's coming.
coffee,
Okay.
so I may.
Well, let me ask you another
Just
question while we wait for that.
Wait for that.
Do you have your questionnaire that you sent to us?
I think I might have some portion of it, but I'll remember the question.
Okay, I'm interested here in, under general information, question 5, and it says, could you characterize your views on how discretion ought to be exercised?
Yeah.
And he said, in my view, discretion should be used whenever possible to maximize the protection of the public.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean is that in terms of if we're talking sentencing.
I don't know what you mean in low side.
Yeah. I had in